Good morning. Right, we're going to start with my one size, that basically, if you can see it, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of my e.l.f. bronzing drops because apparently it's magic. So let's see if that is just that much, but maybe a bit more. And 2 pumps. See what happens, and a decent buffing brush. So I'm going to put it on the back of my hand, blend it all into my brush, so my brush is like really nice and coated, and then off we go. I've done my skin prep, moisturised. I'm trying to get a glowy look today, so that's why I'm a bit shiny, maybe a bit too shiny. But I'm going to do what I see everybody else doing, which is spend a lot of time really pressing this into my skin and then see what happens. Nice and blended, pushed right in. Now these, can you see these? I've had these cryoed off, except they're not off, they're actually just cryoed. That's old age for you. So I don't know if you can see that. It's horribly shiny, but it doesn't look too shiny in my mirror, but right. And then I'm going to use my Hourglass skin tint just for a bit of extra, and it says shake well before use, so I'm going to do that. I'm using a mix of fairly new things, but some of them are old favourites, to be honest, so we'll see. So I'm just going to use like literally that much and see whether that layered on top of the bronzing drops. See if it's any different. That make any difference? Does anybody feel I look different? I don't know if I do, to be honest. I think I look like a tired, over glowy mess, but anyway, we'll see. Okay. So this, if you want to know, is a very old Real Techniques buffing brush. So, not exactly new, but they are good brushes. But I might have had this for, gosh, 5 years, maybe. Right, gosh, I look a bit too tanned, but anyway. Right, so now my under eyes are my worst nightmare. So I'm going to use some of the Rare Beauty, we'll see, Brightening. And just tap that in like that. And I'm going to let that just dry down a little bit and do its own thing. Before I actually add concealer, but I am going to use my Rare Beauty concealer to just try and sort out what's going on in my under eyes. And that's the Rare Beauty 170W corrector concealer. So I'm going to Try and even out my eyelids. I've got something terrible happening here. I don't know what that is. There we go. Right, so my eyebrows aren't terrible, but they do need a little bit of help. So I'm going to try my Glossier brow gel. Boy brow. Pop that on. I don't need to, sometimes I do have to fill them in with the lift and snatch, but today I'm going for a much more natural look, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, now step number 2 for my under eyes always gets very crepey, but this is the Natasha Danona concealer. Also try and lift the rest of my complexion a little bit. Go back to my buffing brush and hopefully this will give my skin a bit more dimension. I probably should use this actually, a smaller concealer brush. You see? Hopefully that's given me a bit more dimension. So now I'm going to let that dry down a little bit. You see, it's nice and shiny, but oh gosh, very shiny. Now this is a very old Fenty Beauty matchsticks in Mocha, and I've had this for so long, but I think it's a beautiful colour and it's a sort of contour highlighter for me, and where it really works quite well actually is I try and minimise my sagging jaw with a bit of darkness here, so see what happens. A smaller brush just to, again this is Real Techniques, I don't know what that is, but it's just a very small, fairly firm buffing brush. And that is supposed to sort of minimise, I've got quite a pointy chin and I've got horrible sagging jaw cheeks these days because I'm so old. There's that. Can you see it's quite a nice it's a bronzer, and it's not really a contour, it's too warm to be a contour, so I like to use it as a bronzer. Not that I need too much bronzing because I use the bronzing drops, but you never know. It gives my face a bit of a shape, I think. I don't really understand nose contour, but everybody else does it, so I'm going to. There we go. Right, and now here's the worst part for me. I'm going to use my Nars Translucent setting powder for under my eyes, and this has, I use a very fluffy, where's it gone? Where's my fluffy brush? It's This is an angled elf brush, which is fluffy but angled, so I can get into. So I'll tap that off. You see all that. Here we go. I always mess this up. And I'm trying to just set my under eyes. I forgot to take out the creases actually, so I don't know. That's going to be terribly useful. Can you see? Has it done anything? And I'm going to just take down a little bit of that shine because it's just too much. How do these people do it? Right. And my favourite at-home trick is to use my Victoria Beckham bronzer palette. This is 02. Oh, it's 03, I think. Yeah, it's 03. This is 03. And I use the light shade on my lids and then just add a bit of depth with the darker shade. And I use the fluffiest brush that I've got, which is, again, an old Real Techniques eyeshadow brush. So pop a little bit of that on the lid. Just very, very lightly holding. I can't do all that clever stuff that with multiple colours. It just doesn't work on me. My eyes are too crepey. So then clean that off. And a little bit of the darker stuff. Just a little. Start on the outside where most of the colour is on the brush, so it gets deposited on the outside, and then it's not quite so bad when you try and blend it out. So I normally do this so that I give various bits of my face time to dry down a little bit so that I don't move what I've just put on. So don't be surprised if you get whiplash, but I'm going to use some of my Anastasia brow gel now that hopefully my boy brow has dried down. So otherwise I'll be just taking off what I've just put on. What do you think? I've got such a spot there, can you see? There's no point in trying to cover it up though. Shall I try? I'm going to try just the tiniest bit of concealer. Can you see? It's like the tiniest bit. I'm sure I'm going to mess this up, but anyway, let's just see. And again, concealer brush. Oh, that's not bad, actually. Sort of. There we go. Now, my other secret weapon is a Victoria Beckham Kajal pencil. And I love this pencil. It's the most bizarre green that you've ever seen in your entire life. But I put it on my top. I don't know if you can see, actually. It needs a bit of a sharpen. Right, I've sharpened it now. So just to recap, this is just makeup that I've got. It's nothing special. I'm not a massive makeup collector, but I do like it. But anyway, I'm going to try and put this. Bear with me, because you might not be able to see what I'm doing. But it's just basically, I'm just putting a line across my top lash line. Look at that, can you see? I just think it's just a nice brightening colour that is hardly there, really. So I'll put that one on that side. I don't actually smudge it out. You're supposed to, I think. with the other line, but I just quite like, well, I'll try a little bit and see what happens. Smudge it out a little bit to blend it out. I can't really do a wing because my eyes are too, well, maybe, shall I try and do a little bit here? Just tiniest bit there. Tiniest bit there. Just a little bit. Okay, so that's that. That spot on my eyes, not great. Okay, now we're going to do, I've got my Makeup by Mario, and this is in, I've got my Makeup by Mario in Earthy Pink. This is called, I'm going to take a beautiful, you see, just the tiniest tiny, oh, see, I've done it the wrong way around. I actually put my brush here and I should have put my brush there because I've sort of got a bit too much on the front of my cheek and it's supposed to blend out onto the front of the cheek. So I am going to try, I always do that a little bit. There we go. Right, okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to do this either will work or it won't. This is my Huda Beauty in, I'm now going to top this off with my Huda Beauty in Bubblegum. And again, I'm going to try using the same brush, which is another Real Techniques brush. And you can see it's very, very pink. And you'd think it's too pink, but once it's on and blends into the skin, I've done it again, I always put it in the wrong place first. There you go. I'm just a normal person putting my makeup on, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. So it is a little bit light, but after it's settled in, it just brings out some colour, which is really, really cool. I'm going to now do my eyelashes, which I'm going to do off camera because I have to pull all sorts of faces. There you go. I used the Bad Girl Bang mascara by Benefit. I've been using this for 6 years. A friend of mine came to lunch once and I said to her, what is on earth is on your lashes? They look amazing. And she said it was this. And I bought this and I've gone through all sorts of other mascaras that have been recommended. And I always come back to this. It's black, it lengthens, it thickens. I have very sparse, they're not sparse, they're just thin and fine and don't really have any impact. But I like that. I think that's quite cool. There we go. And as this is, I'm gonna try this. This is the Westman Atelier something or other. It's a bronzer, but I don't think I know how to use it, to be honest. And I think it's I don't know if it's a highlighter or a bronzer. I'll tell you the colour in a minute. But I have to be quite careful. I've got all these lines here. So highlighting it, it's not necessarily the best idea. It is a highlighter, I just checked, and it's called Peau de Soleil. So Skin of the Sun is that translated. So have I got Skin of the Sun? Probably not. Right, okay, so one last thing, what should I do now? I'm not going to put anything on my lower lashes because I'm at home. I'm trying to be low maintenance, but I am going to put on a little dab of lipstick, which I'm just going to have to go and get. Okay, so I'm using my Pat McGrath lip pencil in, I can't tell. Actually, hang on. I'm going to use my McGrath Labs lip pencil, which is in this colour here. And I think it's called Contour, because I can't see anything else. So, just to outline, I've got very soft, can you see? Don't know if you can. Just a normal, I don't overline. I do overline a little bit on the outsides because my face is falling down, so I tend to just give myself a slight bit of volume on the either side of my upper lip, and then a tiniest bit here. Just easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario Petal Glow. It's a lip gloss. This is the one that you turn up, and you turn it up at the tiniest bit because you can't turn it back down again. So you need to be careful. There you go. I look a bit washed out. Can you see? I might move you a bit closer actually. Let's see. Can you see? Oh, it's not any better. There we go. Let's try that. And that's it. The hair's not happening today. It's too curly, too frizzy, too everything. But that's my makeup done by a non-expert with no filter, no fake lights, no, just daylight, and literally no expertise. So that's me done for today.